The Knicks need an upgrade in talent immediately. And in order for them to do that at this stage, they're going to need to trade. Their best trade asset right after Jalen Brunson has to be Immanuel Quickley. And according to NBA insiders, the New York Knicks would be happy to move Immanuel Quickley if it was for the right deal. We're going to break down this entire report and so much more today. So be sure you're subscribed to the channel and have notifications turned on so you don't miss a second of the new content. And now, let's get started. The Knicks are open to trading Immanuel Quickley. First things first, guys, happy holidays, Merry Christmas Eve to each and every one of you guys. Thank you so much for your support this year and for always watching all of these daily Knicks content clips. But now, let's go into the actual story of today's video, which is the New York Knicks actually open to trading Immanuel Quickley if it's for the right package. According to Bleacher Report and Hoops Hype Michael Scotto, Quickley could leave in the right trade. Per Michael Scotto of Hoops Hype, he states the following: Immanuel Quickley, who one NBA executive describes as the New York Knicks' second best trade asset behind Jalen Brunson, was far apart with the New York Knicks on a potential contract extension before the season. As previously reported by Hoops Hype, Quickley was offered around $18 million per year and was looking for closer to $25 million annually. Given the wide gap in extension talks, along with the belief Quickley would eventually like to start, the Knicks would consider moving last year's Sixth Man of the Year finalist in the right trade. Shout out to Michael Scotto of Hoops Hype for giving us this great update about Immanuel Quickley and the New York Knicks, and the New York Knicks potentially being okay and open to moving Immanuel Quickley depending on the player that they're getting back in that trade. And you know what? This was an obvious thing to happen this season. When you go into the season without re-signing your Sixth Man of the Year runner-up in Immanuel Quickley, these questions are going to come up, these reports are going to come up, and everybody around the league is going to be watching you, waiting to see what you do and how you handle the situation. Right now with Immanuel Quickley, he's still having great production. His minutes is down a little bit though. That was to be expected as well when the New York Knicks go out and you re-sign Josh Hart and then you sign Donte DiVincenzo, who plays an extremely similar role to Immanuel Quickley. When all of these things are going on, it's not hard to understand why these reports are coming out, why teams are looking at the Knicks, and why teams are looking for Immanuel Quickley. There are a lot of teams around the league right now in need of his services, in need of a point guard. He may be coming off the bench for the New York Knicks. Depending on the team he was traded to, he would be starting for that team. That's how desperate some teams are around the league to add a point guard type of skill set to their roster. Immanuel Quickley would check that box and more. And if you're a developing team, Immanuel Quickley would help you out more because he could be a piece you could use to build with for the future. When you don't pay Immanuel Quickley, he's coming off runner-up of Sixth Man of the Year. You're far away in contract negotiation talks. And even more than that, his minutes are reduced this season. Everything, absolutely everything, is pointing to the fact that the New York Knicks and Immanuel Quickley's time is headed to end. And even if the Knicks do match the offer sheet this offseason and end up extending him and re-signing him, he's still not permanent. He's not for the future. Because the only reason they're going to do that is because eventually they want to trade IQ in a package for a star or superstar. So whether they trade IQ at this trade deadline, which doesn't seem like it's going to happen, or they trade him at the end of this season, at the offseason, or they trade him a couple of years later after they re-sign him to an extension. Regardless of what happens, the end result is the same. Immanuel Quickley's time with the New York Knicks is not permanent. It's temporary. And right now, a lot of fans who want to keep him on this team are just trying to extend his time temporarily. Because we all know if that right trade comes along, Immanuel Quickley will be put in that deal because they want to use Quickley, Fournier, maybe some other players, maybe some other picks in order to upgrade this roster and get more talent on this roster. I think without a doubt, the New York Knicks want to keep together the big three in RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, and Jalen Brunson. So whoever else they want to give up or have to give up to add talent to this roster without disturbing those three, I think the New York Knicks are going to do it. And if that player is only going to cost you Immanuel Quickley, somebody who already has 1 foot out the door, in my opinion, already, somebody who clearly, according to Michael Scotto, has heard he wants to start. So he wants to start, he wants to get paid. These are two things that do not mix well with the New York Knicks right now. You pay Immanuel Quickley to come off your bench, 110, 105, whatever the amount is. You pay him that much to come off your bench, then you're tying up almost 200 plus million on your bench with three guys. That is not conducive to winning. You can't do that. I know the Knicks know that. I know you guys know that. And I know you guys know that if the New York Knicks are looking to make that superstar trade to get that talent on this roster, they can't keep all of these guys. They can't keep all of these people. There are going to be some kids they're going to have to go. And in my opinion, the New York Knicks right now are trying to protect the big three, and anybody else around the big three, in my opinion, are open sale. They are open. They can be traded as long as the trade makes sense and it gets this Knicks roster back a talent upgrade that we can use to help shooting, help space the floor, and help give us size. Because at the end of the day, that's the type of player the New York Knicks need. They need another big power forward / center, and without a doubt, they need a wing. They need a true wing on this roster because that will allow RJ Barrett to move back to his more natural position of the two. It will give us size at the two. We'll have more size at the three. We'll have a more natural three who plays that position well and is more naturally fit to play that position. This is what the New York Knicks need, and that's what they're missing. And Immanuel Quickley is the crux of all of that because he might be the key piece to any single trade to get the New York Knicks back. That key piece that they can use to build with in this Eastern Conference so they can become that contender. However, even though the New York Knicks are open to trading Immanuel Quickley, that doesn't mean that they're currently listening to offers for Immanuel Quickley. Because according to Jake Fisher of Yahoo Sports and Bleacher Report, Quickley was virtually absent in trade talks. According to Jake Fisher, Quickley's name has been virtually absent from the early rumblings around the NBA regarding a trade. Evan Fournier's $18.8 million salary before his team option for the 2024-2025 campaign does still stand as a valuable trade chip for the Knicks front office, as Robinson's injury now points to the likelihood of the New York Knicks searching for front court reinforcements. Not gonna lie, this one is a little bit more shocking for me. You don't extend IQ. His minutes are down this season. We don't know what you plan to do with him in the future. We have no idea about that. Everything is looking like you're going to have to trade him because you can't pay him or you don't want to pay him. And then we read reports like this stating that virtually he's been absent off of the NBA trade market, that there's no talks going on about him. Now that can mean two things. Either the Knicks are not actively shopping him, which that seems to be the case, which is a shocker, or teams are not calling about Immanuel Quickley, which I can't believe because his style of play and what he's done in the limited minutes he's had this season has still been impressive. So I don't believe teams are not calling about Immanuel Quickley. I just think the New York Knicks are not entertaining an Immanuel Quickley trade at this stage. And for the life of me, I can't understand why. Like I said before, it doesn't seem like Immanuel Quickley is in the New York Knicks' future plans. And if that's the case, trade him so you can get something back for him versus nothing. Because if you don't match the offer sheet this offseason in restricted free agency and he walks for nothing, it's going to look very, very bad for the New York Knicks and Leon Rose. I'll tell you that right now. If they're going to trade him, they need to either sign and trade him this offseason or trade him during the season for a piece that we can use to build with. Key there, piece that we can use to build with. I am not trading Quickley for picks and role players that will never see the light of day. That is not a great trade or a great move. Trading Quickley for picks and a substantial piece that we can use to move forward with, that's the move you got to make if you're the New York Knicks. And that's the one I'm waiting and watching them to make. But if you don't pick up the phone and there's no rumblings about your second best trade asset behind Jalen Brunson, an asset that we basically know You cannot pay and keep on this roster long term. He is temporary, not permanent. And since we know that, the Knicks need to make a move. And they need to make a move with Immanuel Quickley. They should do it sooner rather than later, unless they believe they can get a better return for him later than they can right now. I'm not sure about that, especially with the minutes reduction. But hey, that's up for Leon Rose and the New York Knicks to decide. At this point in time, though, it's not shocking to hear that the New York Knicks are open to trading Immanuel Quickley because that likely was going to be the case as soon as they didn't extend him this offseason. However, what is a little bit more shocking, and thanks to Jake Fisher for reporting this as well too from Yahoo Sports, is the fact that he's virtually absent from any trade talks during this stage of the season. That is shocking. I know teams are calling about Immanuel Quickley. The Knicks are just not making him available. What do you think that even means? Man, it's going to be a very crazy and interesting trade deadline. I can't wait to watch and see it and see what moves, if any, the New York Knicks make. I can just hope and pray that they actually make a move that's impactful. But what about you guys? What do you think about this situation with the New York Knicks being open to trading Immanuel Quickley if the right deal comes on the table? Let me know in the comments below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below, and of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans, happy holidays and peace.